Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Dyro here with another options and play video update. So now things are really going to pick up when it comes to earning season. We will have this coming week, the following week, and the week after that. Very busy, and that last week of July will definitely be a huge one. I mean, both on the earnings front, but also because we have the FOMC that week too. So a lot going on in a very short period. So we'll just jump right into it. Before the open on Monday, two more banks: Bank of America, which is pricing in $1.50, and Goldman, which is pricing in about 13 or so. Now you had JP, Wells, Citi, Morgan Stanley all report this week. A lot of these banks bounced back really big on Friday after Citi and some upbeat comments from Wells Fargo. But with J.P. Morgan and Morgan Stanley not great, Citi better than feared, and Wells Fargo kind of mixed. What what do you expect, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to be super optimistic, especially now that they've had like big bounces. So I don't know. I'm personally probably going to wait to see, once the dust settles on this quarter, where these banks are. Can they break the downtrends? Because right now, I mean, the action's just been steady, methodical on the downside for a while, and stuff is going to have to change to really disrupt those trends. After the close on Monday, IBM. So about eight or so is what's priced in here. It's coming off a solid quarter in April. It had been acting great just up until the last couple of days. It's still closer to the top of its range though, and it looks pretty interesting on a longer time frame. At eight, options they're a little bit more expensive than usual, but it does seem like a setup where it could potentially move a decent amount. Um, I think if I did anything here though, I'd probably want to get risk down just because I'm not sure how much more of a move I can see above that like priced in eight amount. Before the open on Tuesday, J&J, big healthcare report, about 450 is what they're looking for. There was another name that was acting strong just up until a couple days ago, and it looked like a really good ramp into report candidate, but I mean, then you had this breakdown and then bounce, so I mean, it's just a lot sloppier right now. Um, it seems like less of a interesting earnings play to me. I mean, maybe if it gets to like 182, 183, right? If it starts to make a push here after earnings, then maybe I'll take a look at it for a swing. But I don't think I'm going to be involved with that one. Lockheed. So about 17 and a half is what they're looking for in this one. It's been pretty quiet since the Russia first invaded Ukraine. I mean, it's given back a majority of that move, almost all of it actually. So it seems kind of range bound, if not, kind of like weaker. So I think I'd just rather wait and see what they say, see where it's trading after, because options aren't super cheap, and I don't really have a lot of conviction on it. After the close on Tuesday, all right. So Netflix, one of the big names of the week, about 26 points is what's priced in, which compared to the percentage moves the last couple quarters, it really isn't bad. Um, the issue is just, I mean, after the last two quarters, like, I mean, it's kind of hard to expect like a move of the same magnitude. It has been pretty range bound though, and I mean, it seems like it's due for a swing. You have people thinking that like them splitting up Stranger Things could help subs. Also, they're talking about moving forward with an ad tier. The question really is just, does that move the needle enough right now to get people back into the stock, right? So I think if I did anything here, it'd be a volatility strategy, and I'd probably try to get risk down on both sides to maybe capitalize on a smaller move if possible. Wednesday before the open, ASML, about 30 to 31 points is what's priced in. It's a big semi report. These chip names have been steady downtrends though, and for the most part, earnings really haven't disrupted those trends. Like Micron, even like Taiwan Semi, which was decent. I mean, still in the downtrend. So I don't think I'm going to play this because the option pricing seems high, and trending patterns to me typically see lower volatility around earnings. But maybe after, depending on what the stock does. After the close on Wednesday, another big name, Tesla. Um, Actually, might as well just continue these lines so you can see what I'm looking at here. So, I mean, $60 is what's priced in. Um, there's just so much drama around Elon and Twitter right now. I mean, I'm wondering if that keeps a lid on Tesla for a little while. Deliveries a couple weeks ago, they weren't as bad as feared. And the stock can still move on forward commentary, but it also seems to be settling into like a lower range. So I don't have conviction really one way or the other on it down here. I think what would interest me is if it starts to get through. So right now with the stock at like mid-teens, right? If it's priced in 60, so if it starts to get through 760 and resolve the range higher, that gets interesting, right? On the same token, like if it starts to get down to like 650 and resolve the range lower, all right, that gets interesting. But in the middle here, seems like a toss up, and I think that's what I'm going to look for is like the day after the numbers, can it get to either side of this range and resolve that? Alcoa, so about 425 is what's priced in. Commodity stocks have really been crushed. This actually went into earnings in April in the high 80s, and now it's in the low 40s, so it's down over 50% since then. It's actually going to be a really busy week for commodity names, so expect some movement. I just don't know what to expect, like on these names, right? I mean, Alcoa, steel, mining stocks. I mean, momentum is just squarely on the downside, but a lot of these seem like near-term oversold and really beaten down, so maybe they have room for a bounce, but I don't think it's going to be a focus group for me next week. You have this. STLD is also Wednesday after the close. Before the open on Thursday, you have FCX and NUE. So just a lot of these like commodity names are reporting. Um, Also before the open on Thursday, Domino's. So about 25 points is what's priced in. It definitely can be a volatile restaurant name sometimes. Last couple quarters have been disappointing. Um, and it was actually down a bunch on its April report, but it's since come back. I guess I just wonder if there's more downside risk in this print because of the recent bounce. But the issue with Domino's is that it can be tough to trade sometimes. The options are expensive, and also there's lower liquidity usually. SAP. So I won't be in this. So they're priced in 8 points. Those are monthly options. I won't be in this one, but it is a bigger enterprise software report, and I think this could be interesting because it could give some color on Salesforce, Microsoft, Oracle, ServiceNow, because they were all hit pretty hard this past week on different commentaries. So like NOW CEO was on bad money. Microsoft had some weaker commentary, etc. So I'm more interested in SAP and what they say and how it might impact some of those other names. Also Thursday morning UMP. So this is priced in about 8.5. So CSX is the night before. This is, like these two are the first couple rails. They're both just in steady slides to the downside. Chart seems kind of bearish to me, but just really has not been a group that I've traded much lately. After the close on Thursday, so Snap about 2.5 is what's priced in. I mean, the big question mark with this is just like what's the forward commentary going to be like, because they've already come out and warned about the quarter. So I mean that's what led to this drop, and it's really had no bounce. So it's just what is priced in and what's the forward commentary. I don't think it's going to be as volatile as other ad names like Meta, Pinterest, Google, etc. But people might use that commentary to kind of position on those companies ahead of the following week when they all report. So I might look at some weeklies on Meta, Pins, Google, etc. for like a play on Snap numbers. So STX after the bell on Thursday, pricing in about 575. I still more in the camp of like avoiding semis on earnings until I see volatility start to expand on them. Um, STX definitely can occasionally move when it reports. I just still am not seeing huge moves this quarter on semis, so it's kind of hard to justify laying out money on options. And then Friday before the open, Schlumberger, so about $2 is what's priced in. It's the first energy report, so it could have some impact on that sector. This and a lot of other energy stocks are so far off the recent high. Some people are looking for a bounce, but we'll see. I think it could be volatile, and Halliburton, Baker Hughes don't report next week, so I might be looking at sympathy plays on them, just to see what Schlumberger says, and if there is ends up being a pretty big move on it. And then American Express, so about 7.5 points is what's priced in. J.P. Morgan commentary weighed on AXP, but then Citi and Wells Fargo seem to have helped a little bit on Friday. Still in a recent consolidation around its low. It does seem set up pretty well for a move, and it does actually have a history of gapping on earnings. But I'm gonna have to wait and see how the week plays out because a lot can change between now and Friday morning, um, and we'll see what the options are at the time too, to see if there's still a setup here. So big week. You can see some big names, some big priced in moves, and hopefully some really good action. I mean, we're getting into earnings season, and it's always nice coming into like some big gaps in the morning, and just hoping for some good opportunities. Okay. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading events with options, please follow up the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great weekend. Stay well, and I will talk to you on Monday.